Amaka had just moved to Lagos, Nigeria, and was eager to explore the city's nightlife. She had heard about a trendy new club downtown where people went to dance, drink, and meet new people. Amaka had never been the type to hook up with strangers, but something about the excitement of a new city and the anonymity of a crowded club made her feel daring. As she walked into the club, the bass from the music thumped in her chest, and she felt a rush of anticipation. Amaka ordered a drink from the bar and started to make her way through the crowd. She noticed a man across the room who was staring at her with intense eyes. He was tall, muscular, and had a ruggedly handsome look about him. Amaka felt her pulse quicken as she made her way over to him. The man introduced himself as Thumped, and they started to dance together. Amaka was surprised at how easily they clicked, and she found herself laughing and joking with him as they moved to the beat. As the night wore on, they became more and more comfortable with each other. Thumped's hands felt strong and confident on Amaka's waist, and she found herself drawn to his magnetic energy. At some point, they decided to step outside for a breath of fresh air. The cool night air felt refreshing on Amaka's skin, and she looked up at Thumped. Their eyes met, and she felt a jolt of electricity between them. Without a word, Thumped leaned down and kissed her deeply. Amaka felt a rush of heat as his lips explored hers, and she found herself responding eagerly. They spent the rest of the night together, exploring each other's bodies and sharing intimate moments. When the morning came, Amaka knew that it was time to leave. She thanked Thumped for the night and walked out of his apartment feeling exhilarated and a little bit nervous. As she walked back to her own apartment, Amaka couldn't help but wonder what would happen next. She had never been the type to hook up with strangers, but something about Thumped had felt different. Maybe it was the magic of a new city, or maybe it was just the thrill of a chance encounter. Whatever it was, Amaka knew that she would never forget the night she met Thumped. Over the next few days, Amaka couldn't get Thumped out of her mind. She found herself daydreaming about their night together and wondering what he was doing at that moment. One evening, she decided to send him a message on social media. To her surprise, Thumped responded immediately, and they started chatting back and forth. As the days turned into weeks, Amaka and Thumped continued to talk and see each other whenever they could. They would go out for drinks, have dinner, and spend long nights together exploring the city. Amaka found herself falling for Thumped more and more, and she couldn't believe how different he was from the other men she had dated in the past. Despite their strong connection, Amaka knew that they were both still seeing other people. She didn't want to ask Thumped about his dating life, but she couldn't shake the feeling that he was hiding something from her. One night, as they were lying in bed together, she decided to ask him about it. Thumped hesitated for a moment before finally admitting that he was seeing someone else. Amaka felt a pang of jealousy and disappointment, but she also knew that they had never agreed to be exclusive. She decided to be honest with Thumped and told him that she had feelings for him. Thumped listened carefully and then leaned in to kiss her. From that moment on, Amaka and Thumped started dating exclusively. They were both surprised at how easily their relationship had developed, but they knew that they had something special. Over time, they became closer and more connected, and they started to talk about their future together. Looking back on that night in the club, Amaka couldn't believe how much her life had changed. She had gone from being a single woman looking for adventure to being in a committed relationship with a man she loved. She knew that hooking up with a stranger had been a risky move, but it had led her to Thumped, and she wouldn't change a thing. As Amaka and Thumped's relationship grew stronger, they started to explore new parts of Nigeria together. They visited historical landmarks, went on wildlife safaris, and tried new foods. Amaka loved how adventurous Thumped was and how he was always willing to try new things. One day, Thumped surprised Amaka with a trip to Ghana. He had booked a romantic weekend getaway for them in Accra, and Amaka was over the moon. She had always wanted to travel to Ghana and was excited to experience the country's vibrant culture. When they arrived in Accra, Amaka was struck by the city's energy and diversity. She loved the colorful markets, the lively music, and the friendly people. Thumped had planned out a whole itinerary of activities for them, including visits to museums, art galleries, and restaurants. On their second night in Accra, Thumped took Amaka to a rooftop bar with a stunning view of the city. They ordered drinks and talked about their dreams and goals. Amaka realized that she had never felt so connected to someone before. She knew that Thumped was the one for her. As the night wore on, they decided to go back to their hotel room. Amaka felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as they undressed and got into bed together. She knew that they had a strong emotional connection, but she couldn't help wondering what would happen if they didn't have that physical chemistry. To her delight, Amaka found that their physical connection was just as strong as their emotional connection. They moved together with a natural ease, and Amaka felt like she was truly in the moment. She knew that she was with the right person and that they would have a bright future together. As they lay in bed together, wrapped in each other's arms, Amaka realized that hooking up with Thumped had been the best decision she had ever made. It had led her to a man who loved her for who she was and who shared her sense of adventure and excitement. She knew that there would be challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them with Thumped by her side. Over the next few months, Amaka and Thumped's relationship continued to grow stronger. They talked about their future plans and dreams and started making concrete plans to move in together. Amaka had never felt so sure about a relationship before, and she knew that Thumped was the man she wanted to spend the rest of her life with. However, their happiness was short-lived when Amaka found out that Thumped had been cheating on her with another woman. She was devastated and felt like her whole world had come crashing down. She couldn't believe that the man she had trusted and loved so deeply could hurt her like this. Despite her pain, Amaka knew that she needed to confront Thumped about his infidelity. She met with him in person and asked him why he had cheated on her. Thumped was apologetic and tried to explain that he had been going through a difficult time and had made a mistake. Amaka listened to him, but she knew that she couldn't forgive him so easily. In the end, Amaka decided to end things with Thumped. She knew that she deserved someone who would love and respect her without reservation, and she couldn't continue a relationship with someone who had betrayed her trust. It was a painful decision, but Amaka knew that it was the right one. As she moved on from Thumped, Amaka realized that her experience with hooking up had taught her a valuable lesson. She had learned that sometimes taking risks can lead to great rewards, but that it's important to be cautious and protect oneself. She knew that she would continue to be open to new experiences, but she would always be careful about who she let into her heart. In the end, Amaka came out of the experience stronger and wiser. She knew that she would find love again someday, but until then, she was content to focus on herself and her own growth. Amaka threw herself into her work and her hobbies, spending time with friends and family, and exploring new parts of Nigeria and other countries. She realized that there was so much to see and experience in the world, and she was determined to make the most of every opportunity. Eventually, Amaka met a man named Kofi who was also passionate about travel and adventure. They started dating and soon discovered that they had a deep connection. Amaka was hesitant to trust again after what had happened with Thumped, but Kofi was patient and understanding. He showed her that he was a man of integrity and character, and slowly but surely, Amaka began to open her heart to him. Over time, Amaka and Kofi's relationship grew stronger, and they talked about their future plans together. They traveled to Ghana, Nigeria, and other parts of Africa, and even took a trip to Europe together. Amaka felt happy and fulfilled in a way that she had never felt before, and she knew that Kofi was the one for her. As they celebrated their one-year anniversary, Amaka reflected on her journey of love and self-discovery. She realized that hooking up with Thumped had been a defining moment in her life, one that had led her to Kofi and helped her grow as a person. She was grateful for the experience, even though it had been painful at times. In the end, Amaka knew that life was full of surprises, both good and bad. She had learned to take risks, but also to protect herself and her heart. As the years turned into decades, the world changed around them. New technologies emerged, old traditions faded away, and the village itself began to grow and expand. But through it all, the memory of Amaka and Kofi remained strong, a testament to the enduring power of love. And so, as the sun set on another day in their village, the people gathered together to honor the memory of two people who had once loved each other more than anything else in the world. They remembered their love, their laughter, and their devotion to each other, and they knew that they would never be forgotten. For Amaka and Kofi's love story had become a legend, a tale of two souls who had found each other in a world that often seemed so dark and lonely. And in that love, they had found a light that would shine forever. As the legend of Amaka and Kofi's love story continued to grow, it reached beyond the borders of their village and began to inspire people across the region and beyond. People spoke of their love in hushed tones, as if it was a sacred thing that needed to be treated with reverence. Young couples looked up to Amaka and Kofi as role models, and many of them aspired to have a love like theirs. They saw in them an example of what it meant to truly love and be loved, and they knew that if they could have even a fraction of what Amaka and Kofi had, they would be blessed beyond measure. And so, the legend of Amaka and Kofi's love story continued to grow, until it became a part of the very fabric of the community. It was a story that was told to children as they drifted off to sleep, a story that was recounted at weddings and funerals, a story that was woven into the very identity of the people. For Amaka and Kofi, their love had been something that was pure and simple, something that needed no embellishment or grand gestures. It was a love that had been built on the foundation of trust, understanding, and mutual respect, and it had endured because of the deep connection they had shared. And even now, as the world continued to change and evolve around them, their love story remained an inspiration to all those who knew it. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, love could still shine bright, and that it was something that could change the world for the better. So as the sun set on another day in their village, the people smiled as they thought of Amaka and Kofi, two souls who had found each other in a world that often seemed so cold and cruel. And in their love, they had found a warmth and a light that would continue to shine on, long after they were gone. Thank you for watching and listening to our interesting but relatable story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more videos. We'll see you in the next video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.